Rare champagne at 3 in the morning, a detour halfway there just to pick up a forgotten cell phone, filet mignon from a specific restaurant in Paris, delivered by jet to Rome. Welcome to the world where the sky is not the limit. It's just the starting point, while most people squeeze into economy class, hoping they don't get the middle seat and praying that the child in the row behind them doesn't cry for the entire flight. There's another universe happening up there, and that's exactly what we're going to show you today. The most absurd, bizarre, and, for many people, unbelievable stories from the world of private jets. But first, a detail. This is not gossip or made-up stories. These are real accounts recorded by companies that make a living from this, such as Avionco, which operates in Europe and the United States, and NetJets, a private aviation giant that serves people with money on a level that doesn't even make sense to discuss, as well as JetSmarter, an on-demand jet booking app that has already flown names like Kim Kardashian, Jamie Foxx, Fergie, and many others of that caliber. And if you think you've seen it all, hold on, because what Bello Mundo is about to show you goes way beyond any limits. Number 1. The basics that are anything but basic. Before we get to the stories, let me tell you what is standard on these jets, because even the basics here would make any of us feel like we've won the lottery. A private jet flight begins long before you arrive at the airport. In fact, you don't even need to go to the commercial airport. Most of the super-rich use private terminals, known as FBOs. At these exclusive locations, you simply park your luxury cars a few meters from the plane's stairway. No crowded parking lots miles away from the terminal. Yes, you've seen it many times in movies and TV shows, haven't you? The whole process is fast, discreet, and efficient. From your car to the plane in a matter of minutes. No metal detectors, no waiting, no airport rituals that everyone is familiar with. Inside the jet, the concept of space changes. No cramped aisles. The interiors look like flying apartments, swivel seats, sofas, dining tables, and in larger models, bedrooms with king-size beds and bathrooms with showers. The food is decided before the flight. It can be lobster, caviar, Wagyu beef, Dom Perignon, Krug, all served on porcelain, crystal glasses, and silver cutlery. The service matches this standard. The crew is trained to anticipate any request. On the most exclusive jets, there is practically one flight attendant for each passenger. Luggage is never a problem. It goes straight to the plane's compartment, accessible during the flight. And often it's not even the passenger who brings the suitcase. Clothes and personal items are already on board, organized and waiting. On board there is fast internet, giant screens, high-quality sound, and even personalized playlists. That's just the basics. That's how any flight of this level begins. And from here, the stories only get more absurd. Number 2. Pampering for VIP pets. In this world, luxury isn't just for people. Dogs, cats, parrots, and even miniature horses fly more comfortably than many people in first class. And that's no exaggeration. According to an article in The Independent, based on data from NetJets, one of the giants of private aviation, most of the most absurd requests they receive involve animals. And when we say animals, we don't mean take them with you. We mean star of the flight. A billionaire, for example, crossing the ocean, asked the pilot to make an extra stop halfway. The reason? His dog needed to get out, take a walk, and breathe a little before continuing the trip. And yes, they did. No drama, no questions asked. There was also the customer who chartered a jet and ordered full in-flight service. Fresh fruit, gourmet sandwiches, nuts, everything down to the smallest detail. But it wasn't for him. It was for his parrot. The pet traveled with exclusive catering, with everything tailor-made. How about cats? Air charter service has seen it all. One customer chartered a jet just for herself and her 9 cats during an international move, while another customer booked one for his 3 cats, who stayed in their crates on the flight from Kansas to New York. On private flights, the extremes are even greater. A billionaire American heiress regularly travels with her 5 French bulldogs, each with their own seat and personalized comfort kit, including silk pillows embroidered with their initials, cashmere blankets, and toys specific to each dog. Today, there are companies that focus solely on this. Exclusive flights for pets, with in-flight service, luxury grooming, pampering, comfort, and even personalized passports for the animals. And when it comes to pets flying like royalty, it's impossible not to remember a scene that went viral around the world. The Saudi prince who simply bought seats for 80 falcons on an Emirates flight. The birds of prey, lined up neatly in economy class seats, became one of the most absurd and iconic images in the history of the internet. And although it wasn't on a private jet, this case perfectly illustrates the special relationship that the ultra-rich have with their animals. Number 3. Banquets and rare meals on board. It's not just animals that eat well on private jets. When it comes to food on board, jet owners make sure that every wish is granted. If a passenger thinks of something specific during the flight, the crew is ready to make it happen. A group of friends flying together decided in the middle of the trip that they wanted pizza. But it couldn't be just any pizza. It had to be the original, from that specific pizzeria in Naples that they loved so much. No problem. The pilot changed the route, landed in Naples, picked up the hot pizzas that were already waiting on the runway, and everyone continued their trip happily, eating on the plane as if it were normal. Another common situation is calling renowned chefs at the last minute. If the passenger wants something special like white truffles out of season, caviar, or desserts with gold leaf, everything appears. No matter where the chef is, they go after it and bring it on board. There was even a billionaire who couldn't stand airplane food. In the middle of the trip, he called a famous restaurant on the ground, ordered his favorite dish, and the jet crew had to rush to deliver the order while still on the runway before the next takeoff. And it doesn't even have to be haute cuisine to cause such madness. Sometimes passengers just want something very simple, but they won't compromise. One customer liked a specific soft drink called Fresca so much that he refused to fly without it. The problem was that the drink simply wasn't sold in Europe. The order arrived at the last minute, less than 24 hours before the flight was due to leave. The solution? They called a pilot who was coming from the United States and put a whole box of this soft drink on his plane. As soon as he landed in London, a taxi rushed the box to the jet that was ready for takeoff. All this just to satisfy the specific taste of one passenger. Another passenger didn't even know where he wanted to go, but he was absolutely sure of one thing. He wanted the purest organic coconut in the world. The destination didn't matter, only the coconut. The team found a specific farm in Fiji, and that was it. The plane was chartered, and the destination was chosen not for its paradise beaches or luxury hotels, but for the quality of its coconuts. Exaggerations like this are normal for those who fly this way. Things that seem absurd are as common as someone asking for coffee or water. But do you think it's just food? Of course not. Number 4. Luxury delivery. Just when we think we understand how far the exaggeration goes, a story always comes along that takes everything to another level. In this world of luxury, a private jet can serve as express delivery for anything, literally anything. There was a tycoon who sent his jet halfway around the world, completely empty. All this to retrieve a hat he had forgotten at the hotel, an item that, on paper, cost less than $1,000. But the flight, with all the overhead, cost more than $300,000. And there was no discussion. The order was placed, the plane took off, fetched the hat, and returned. There's also that classic story about someone organizing a party, except that, in this case, a party for people of this caliber isn't just about choosing decorations and catering. When they found out that the celebration was going to have a jungle theme, they decided that improvisation was not an option. A plane flew to Thailand to fetch exotic flowers. Another crossed the ocean to bring a specific bartender, one of those who knows exactly what the party host's favorite drink is. And there was even a third trip, leaving from Los Angeles, just to bring the host's personal sound equipment. Because, of course, you can't trust other people's sound systems. And if you think it's just for parties, you're wrong. Even personal matters become an excuse to use a private jet. There was a woman who decided she wasn't going to wait another minute to finalize her divorce. She simply chartered a plane just to take the papers to her ex-husband, who was in another country. The jet landed directly on the private runway of the guy's farm. The pilot got out, handed over the paperwork, got the signature, and left. Not even gifts escaped this kind of whim. A child spending his first time at summer camp was sad and crying because he missed his family. The solution: a private plane full of balloons, ordered just for that purpose. The plane landed, unloaded the cabin full of colorful balloons and a message from the family, and took off again. In this world, private jets are not just transportation. They are an extension of will. They are luxury carrier pigeons, multi-millionaire express mail, the fastest and most expensive way to get anything done. Number 5. Flights with personalized environments. For many people who use private jets, the plane cannot be just transportation. It needs to be practically an extension of their own home, or at least reflect exactly what the person likes. One passenger had the entire cabin decorated with white Casablanca lilies. Nothing more, nothing less. Getting on that plane was like entering a flying greenhouse. The smell of flowers filled the entire flight. Another decided that everything on the plane had to be pink. A few details weren't enough. The seats were all covered in pink, and the menu featured shrimp, macarons, and rosé champagne, all matching. Even the pilot got into the spirit and wore a pink shirt. At the door of the plane, there was no red carpet, just a pink carpet to welcome the guests. Celebrities go even further and transform their private planes into a direct extension of who they are. Singer Taylor Swift, for example, customized her Dassault Falcon with the number 13, her lucky number, and the phrase, "the fearless one," a reference to one of her albums. Inside there is soft decor and a complete entertainment system. Jay-Z and Beyoncé have also raised the bar. A gift for the couple, a Bombardier Challenger 850 valued at over $70 million. The plane has a master suite with a king-size bed, 2 full bathrooms with showers, a living room with leather armchairs, and a kitchen equipped to prepare the couple's favorite meals in mid-flight. Tom Cruise is another one. We already know about his love of flying and his performance in the great movie Top Gun. And perhaps that explains his collection. The actor has 5 private jets, including a Gulfstream IV, valued at over $30 million, with a movie theater and even a hot tub to relax in mid-flight. Not bad, right? But when it comes to extravagance, few can beat Drake's jet, a Boeing 767 christened Air Drake. The rapper invested almost $200 million in the aircraft, which features a game room, home theater, and 3 private suites. The most impressive feature: he removed most of the seats to create open living spaces, including a lounge that looks like the VIP room of an exclusive nightclub. Excessive or not, they can afford it. And it's not just the decor. The onboard entertainment can also go a long way. Number 6. Entertainment. For those who own a private jet, watching movies or choosing a playlist is just the bare minimum. We already understand that in this world, everything can be much more interesting. There have been passengers who asked to have the entire plane turned into a movie theater, with a real projector, big screen, and even a popcorn machine working in mid-flight. And if you think that's too much, wait for it to get better. Another group decided to bring famous musicians to perform live right there at 39,000 feet. Imagine a private concert while the plane crosses continents. And that wasn't the only case. There has been an improvised fashion show in the cabin, complete with exclusive clothes made for the flight, and even an art exhibition set up in the middle of the plane just to enjoy the time up there. There was an even more demanding passenger. He asked the airline to stage a Rockettes-style show, those American dancers known for their well-choreographed shows in New York, in the middle of the flight. Of course, it was a lot of work, but they made it happen, and the performance took place in mid-air, with costumes, music, dancing, and everything else that goes with it. A woman flying to Florence to celebrate her 50th birthday decided she wanted to start the party while still in the air, complete with a cake full of lit candles inside the plane. As fire is prohibited, there was no way around it. They hired a firefighter especially for the flight. So she was able to blow out the 50 candles peacefully while the jet crossed Europe. Even the most personal moments take on another dimension. A young man decided to propose to his girlfriend on the anniversary of the day they met. He called both sets of parents, decorated the private terminal with flowers, and hired a photographer to capture the moment. When midnight struck, he popped the question with New York sparkling through the window. She, of course, said yes, and the flight turned into a party. And it's not just special occasions like weddings or birthdays that get the extra touch. Christmas is also taken very seriously. One passenger wanted a full Christmas tree inside the plane, decorated with real presents underneath. Another had Christmas trees decorated on the runways. And there was even a couple who decided to go even further. They put real reindeer with a sleigh on the runway to take off at the same time as the jet. The idea was simple: to make their children believe they were flying behind Santa Claus, heading for the North Pole. And if you need the pilot to dress up as Santa Claus for the entire flight, that's no problem either. They've done that too. Just pay enough, and everything is taken care of. Exaggeration? Perhaps, but those who live in this world no longer see it as exaggerated. It has become just a normal way of enjoying life, or rather, enjoying money. And you, if you had a private jet at your disposal for a day, what would be your most extravagant request? Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our trips through the fascinating Bello Mundo. Thank you very much for your company, and see you next time.